This is Jarrod Horak for the RunawayHorse.com. In this video, we're going to recap Preakness 2017 and we're going to preview the Belmont Stakes. We're still more than 2 weeks away from the Belmont Stakes. Now, last week we enjoyed our live on-site coverage at Pimlico Racecourse for the Preakness, and we did a few videos for those, and I hope you enjoyed those videos. But this time we're back in the studio this week, and we're going to talk about the Preakness and what happened. Now, Always Dreaming, obviously disappointed. He was the favorite. He was my top choice. I thought he was going to run a good race. He just, for whatever reason, you could say, Todd Pletcher can't bring a horse back in 2 weeks. Whatever your excuse is. I don't think there's just any excuse. He just did not run his race. He was hard-pressed out of the gate. He just never looked comfortable. He never looked like he was really going to run a good race, even though he was in front for 6 or 7 furlongs. But he retreated quickly. And Classic Empire was right after him out of the gate. He parked himself right outside of that one. And there was really no excuses for Classic Empire to lose the Preakness. He should have won this race. He's your 2-year-old champion. He had that troubled trip in the Derby. He set a perfect trip in the Preakness. He was tracking a tired, Always Dreaming. He put that one away early. He opened up an easy lead. He should have coasted home, but he didn't. He got tired late, and Cloud Computing, with only 3 lifetime starts, ran down Classic Empire and upset the Preakness. Now Cloud Computing, for trainer Chad Brown, was my live long shot in the Preakness. He was my 4th choice. I had him hooked up in exactas with Always Dreaming, and he was in all my exotics. He ran a little bit better than I expected, but it was a nice effort. He was lightly raced, and he figured to improve and be sitting on a career top. I just didn't think that career top was going to be better than Always Dreaming. I really was surprised that Always Dreaming didn't run a good race, but he just never fired, and you can kind of throw that race out for him. As for Classic Empire, as I said, no excuses. He was on top of an honest pace, but he's a champion horse. He should have been able to just go on and win the Preakness Stakes, but he didn't. So now he's supposed to go forward to the Belmont Stakes, and there are quite a few horses pointing to the Belmont. Now, Classic Empire is one of them, but the Belmont would be his 4th race in 8 weeks. And typically, horses coming out of the Preakness do not do well in the Belmont Stakes. The strategy has been run in the Derby, skip the Preakness, run in the Belmont, and those fresh horses or dominate the Belmont Stakes. So Classic Empire, I think, would be an underlaid favorite. I would certainly try to beat him if he does run in the Belmont. Conquest Mo Money, who was up the track in the Preakness, he may run in the Belmont, and he would show some speed in that race. Epicharis from Japan, he was 2nd in the UAE Derby. He's supposed to be coming in for the Belmont Stakes, and he set the pace in the UAE Derby, and I would expect that he would be at least forwardly placed in the Belmont at 1.5 miles. Now, Gormley, your Santa Anita Derby winner, finished up the track in the Kentucky Derby. He's going to run in the Belmont Stakes for trainer John Sheriffs. IRAP, your Bluegrass winner, he was up the track in the Derby. He could come back. Irish Warcry, another one for trainer Graham Motion. He won the Wood Memorial, disappointed in the Derby, and then he could come back in the Belmont. J. Boys Echo, same thing. He won the Gotham earlier this year, and then he's one that was up the track in the Derby. He's going to come back for the Belmont. Looking at Lee, was 4th in the Preakness, 2nd in the Kentucky Derby. So just like Classic Empire, the Belmont would be his 4th race in 8 weeks. So that's a lot of action there. Meantime was 2nd in the Peter Pan. He could end up running in the Belmont. Multiplier up the track in the Preakness. He's a Belmont possibility. Patch for trainer Todd Pletcher. Now Todd Pletcher does well in the Belmont Stakes, and Patch was up the track in the Derby, but he's one that has an excellent pedigree for the Belmont. Union Rags the sire, AP Indy the dam sire, both Belmont Stakes winners, so he would be an interesting contender if he goes. Senior Investment, 3rd in the Preakness, big late runner for Ken McPeak. Late runners typically struggle in the Belmont Stakes. Tapwrit for trainer Todd Pletcher, he would be interesting. Hasn't run since the Kentucky Derby. And then a couple others, you have True Timber, 3rd in the Sir Barton for trainer Karen McLaughlin, and then Twisted Tom for trainer Chad Brown. He was 1st in the Private Terms and the Tessio Stakes at Laurel Park in his last 2 starts. So remember, for the Belmont Stakes, you want to beat the horses most likely coming out of the Preakness. Derby, Belmont has been the way to go. And the horses that have run in the Derby and are going to run in the Belmont right now, Gormley, IRAP, Irish Warcry, J. Boys Echo, Patch, and Tapwrit. The winner could certainly come out of that group in the Belmont. Now right now, my top 5 3-year-olds after the Preakness Stakes, coming in at number 5 is going to be Classic Empire. He's disappointed this year. He's 1 for 4, your 2-year-old champion in 2017. He won the Arkansas Derby. He had a lot of problems. He had a troubled trip in the Kentucky Derby. He finished a close 2nd in the Preakness, but I think he's just run so many times now, and he could struggle in the Belmont. Coming in at number 4 is going to be McCracken. He's one that disappointed in the Derby. He had a setback like Classic Empire. He missed a start earlier this year. Then he was third in the Bluegrass. He was expected to run well in the Kentucky Derby. He was a little bit flat in the stretch there. But I think he's going to have a big second half of 2017. And his first race in the second half of the year will come in the Matt Winn Stakes at Churchill Downs on June 17th. Coming in at number 3 on my top 5 3-year-old ranking, Cloud Computing. Very lightly raced. He has 4 lifetime starts with 2 wins, a second, and a third. And he hit the board in 2 stakes races, the Gotham and the Wood Memorial, and then he ended up winning the Preakness Stakes for trainer Chad Brown. He has a lot of upside with only 4 starts. My second ranked 3-year-old right now is Irish War Cry. He won the Holy Bull earlier this year. He also won the Wood Memorial, and he has beaten Classic Empire and Cloud Computing, your 1-2 finishers, and he beat them soundly earlier this year. They were your 1-2 Preakness finishers. So Irish War Cry, certainly capable of winning the Belmont. And then coming in at number 1 is Always Dreaming. He won the Florida Derby and the Kentucky Derby. His only poor start was in the Preakness. I'm going to draw a line through that one. He's going to come back later this summer and hopefully come right back to form for trainer Todd Pletcher. Now, if you're interested in my full card analysis each day from Santa Anita Park, go over to therunawayhorse.com, click on my sales page. And if you're interested in joining my email list, go over to the Runaway Horse 2013 at gmail.com. Send me an email to that email address. I'll put you on the email list. I give away free full cards the final Friday of each month during the Santa Anita meet. I'll also be giving away free full cards for the upcoming Del Mar meet this summer. So send an email to the Runaway Horse 2013 at gmail.com. That'll wrap up this video. We'll be back next week with another video of a stakes race.